So let's think about a toxic relationship. So in this situation, we might say, I want this relationship to be less toxic. I need this person to stop doing this. And I think that is a fair goal. But why? Because it's having a negative impact on my mental health. Why? Because now I can't sleep at night. Now it's having a trickle-down effect on the rest of my family. Okay. And so hypothetically, what if you can't achieve that goal? Then what do you need? Oh, it's not necessarily that I need this person to do these things. If there's a person in my life, I need them to do those things. It doesn't necessarily need to be that person. And what you're going to start to see is that a lot of times our goals are just, by definition, disempowering, because our pathway to success is contingent upon somebody who is unreasonable becoming reasonable.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
And so that's when you can come to that conclusion. Now, again, going back to something I said earlier, we would need to find a way to be okay. So hypothetically, if this person doesn't come around, then what am I going to do? Oh, that would be uncomfortable, but there is a pathway to not being miserable, and that's what I'll have to do. And now I need to really sit with that reality and become okay with that. And so now you go into that conversation and you can be very laid back, because you don't need to feel that need to like force somebody, because it's like there's this psychological push and pull. Everybody plays a role. We have these roles in our heads subconsciously. Just think about any other animal. They do too. If there's a dog here and we were to sprint at that dog's going to run away. It's like, what is happening? I'm running, right? If a dog's sitting here and I run, the dog's going to chase. It's a chaser-chasey dichotomy. And so in our conversations, if I really need you to do something, it feels like an infringement on your agency. I want to have a choice to do something. So I'm going to try to do the other thing to assert myself in the conversation. And so a lot of times, the more we want a person to change, the less likely they are to change, because we are pushing and they're running away. It creates that counter. So by sitting back and saying, hey, listen, this is the problem I'm experiencing. It's having this impact on me. And they say, no, I don't care. You should get over it. You're being a snowflake. You're being too soft. I'm like, okay, if you feel that way, that's fine. I just wanted to let you know that it's no longer sustainable for me. And if it's more important for you to engage in those behaviors, you have every right to do that. And then I'm going to have to make some tough decisions going forward. I just wanted to let you know.
Wow.
Conversation's done. And what's interesting is oftentimes that's way more persuasive.
Hey folks, it's harder to think, create, and lead when your body's running on fumes. When you sleep well, you perform better. That's why I love my Avocado Green mattress. Avocado mattresses are handcrafted from certified organic, non-toxic materials. No junk, no chemicals, just comfort and support. So you wake up focused and ready to give your best at work and at home. Visit avocadogreenmattress.com/Ken and get an extra $50 off adult mattresses with the code Front Row Seat. And as you were talking about how much we desire for a person to change, I'm thinking spouse and I'm thinking child.
Oh, yeah.
And as parents, we'll start there.
Mm-hmm.
As parents, boy, we start getting into control mode.
Mm-hmm.
And when we can't control the teenager and it's not working, then anger takes over, maybe rage, whatever, but we're not getting anywhere with the kid.
Yeah.
And I don't think we think of it in terms of good parenting many times is a form of negotiation. I don't mean as in capitulation.
Right.
But true negotiation. Is that true?
I agree. Yeah. And I think especially with children, one of the things that we're battling against that we don't speak of intentionally in this context is focus. It's focus. It's really hard to get their attention. So they're distracted by their phones. They're distracted by busyness. They're looking for a way out. Attention spans are shorter than ever before. It's harder for people to manage their emotions, and they're always going to look for a way out. So it's really hard for them to actually lean into the conversation. So context will matter. So one of the simplest things you can do is just change the scenario. 2 really great options. Go for a drive. Driving in a car is a beautiful way to get this done. So you drive, they drive, doesn't matter where you're going. There doesn't need to be a destination. There's no confrontational aspect where it's me versus you looking at each other. We're both looking forward, moving in the same direction. That's a great way to get people's focus. Another easy way, and this is something that they actually used in apartheid to break through in a lot of conversations. Whenever you reach an impasse, take a walk. Take a walk with the person, because what ends up happening, again, you're moving in the same direction, so it feels more collaborative. But the hidden gem in this is that there are going to be decision points. Do we go right? Do we go left? We have to agree on that. So you have micro agreements throughout the conversation and interaction. And sometimes the conversation just doesn't go well because you don't have the right environment, you don't have the focus, and you're not moving in the same direction.
So am I hearing that there is a physiological hack to difficult conversations?
Oh, there can be.
Can be. Yeah. You have to have a willing participant who will say, go on the walk or go on the drive.
Mm-hmm.
But that is a fascinating deal there.
Yeah. Because now we don't even need to really, we have ample time and we have ample focus. And sometimes that's all it takes. Think about pressure. Sometimes that's what it takes to make the dam break. It doesn't need to be like an explosive movement. And so you just ask questions. Figure out what it is that your child wants in the situation. How are they seeing themselves? And then you can just help them through the art of strategic questioning, help them to realize that their behavior is counter to their own stated goal and hope for their future and identity. So I don't need to teach you anything. You teach yourself.
Yeah, it's true. Explain to the audience the differences in what happens when someone's on the receiving end of a what question versus a why question.
Yeah, it comes down to defensiveness. So when you ask a question that starts with why, it sounds accusatory, no matter what your tone is. Because for so long in our life, when the person who has power asks us, why did you do something? It's not a good situation. You know, think about with your kids, if they inexplicably spill something, you're like, why did you do that?
Right.
So it's been ingrained in our heads. And so just transitioning it to what or how is a really good way to do this. This is a Chris Voss special. He's really great at that. But it just softens the question. Another great way to soften the question is by just starting off with out of curiosity and then asking the question, because it's not aggressive. It shows that your goal is to learn, not to accuse, and it just softens it. And so that's the thing, because it's not just about asking a question that grammatically makes sense to get the information that you want. It's about asking the question in a way that is geared toward making the person feel safe enough to actually answer the question and give the information.